Nathan stood in the kitchen, watching Kayla pack for her trip to Boston. She moved with precision, folding clothes, organizing her carry-on. Her iPad on the nightstand buzzed with incoming messages, but Kayla was focused on her task, dismissing the urgency of the device. "You're going to miss your flight?" Nathan said casually, breaking the silence. Kayla smiled, offering a practiced response. "I have time, Nathan. My Uber isn't here for another 20 minutes. 20 minutes. That's all he had before Kayla would be gone for 3 days, leaving him alone with his suspicions. These days, their life seemed to consist of late-night calls, networking events, and excuses from her. He couldn't help but feel the weight of it all. The silence. The absence. The iPad buzzed again. "Someone's eager to reach you," he remarked, his eyes briefly flickering to the device. Kayla's hands froze mid-action. "Probably work," she said dismissively. "Patricia gets anxious when I leave town." Patricia, her assistant. Nathan had met her a couple of times at company events, but they had barely exchanged more than pleasantries. He said nothing, taking a sip of his cold coffee. Kayla finished packing, zipped her suitcase with finality, and turned to face him. She looked perfect. Too perfect. Dark jeans, a gray cashmere sweater, leather boots clicking sharply on the floor as she crossed to him. She stood on her toes and kissed him softly. "We're going to make a baby when I get back," she whispered. The words cut through him. For 6 months they'd been trying, tracking cycles, disappointing tests, failed attempts. "Yeah, sounds good," he managed, trying to mask the ache inside. She studied him, concern flashing in her eyes. "You okay? You seem distant." "Just gonna miss you," he lied. But there was more to it. The way she had started acting, guarding her phone, wearing new lingerie, avoiding him. The gut feeling that something was off was hard to ignore. Kayla grabbed her suitcase, gave him a final look, and called out, "I love you, Nathan." "Love you too," he replied, his heart heavy as he watched her leave. As the front door closed behind her, Nathan stood in the silence she left behind. The iPad buzzed again, a final alert. He picked it up. Her passcode, her anniversary, March 15th. He typed it in without hesitation. The first message was from JJ. Perfect timing. "Are you sure she's gone for good this time?" Nathan's hands trembled as he read on. Kayla had been talking to Jay for months, telling him everything. "Kayla, he's completely clueless, 3 days in Boston, just like I said." The messages between Kayla and Jay were filled with flirtations, promises, and plans. She was having an affair, 6 months of lies, while he believed they were building a future together. A photo of Kayla, smiling in black lingerie, confirmed it. The caption, "Can't wait for Boston. I'm bringing the red set this time." Nathan closed the iPad and set it back on the nightstand. He was shaken, but didn't act immediately. His anger, confusion, and disbelief festered beneath the surface. He didn't scream or lash out. Instead, he grabbed his phone, took photos of the evidence, and built a quiet, methodical case against her. Then he got dressed and went to work, as though everything was normal. At lunch, he sat in his car, combing through the texts again, reconstructing a timeline. 6 months. The affair had been going on for that long, under his nose, hidden behind her smiles and lies. The messages revealed everything, the flirtation, the guilt, the promises of a future with someone else. But who was Jay? Nathan found him on Facebook. John Mitchell, college boyfriend, successful tech executive. Kayla had kept him in her life all these years. He had been there, lurking beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to re-enter. Nathan, meanwhile, had been too trusting, too sweet, too oblivious. He spent the afternoon making calls, to a lawyer for a consultation, to a private investigator to dig deeper into John's life. The anger was there, but there was also something colder, more controlled. He was going to make her understand. By the time Kayla texted him that night, he was already planning. "Just wanted to say goodnight. The conference is exhausting. Love you." He responded with a calm, "Sleep well. Love you too." Then he added a heart emoji, deleted it, and added it back again, the way he used to do before he knew the truth. Nathan didn't sleep that night. He stayed up, poring over every message, every detail. The affair wasn't just physical, it was emotional. Kayla had shared everything with John. Her feelings of suffocation in their life together, her desire to escape. By the time the sun rose, Nathan was numb. The realization of just how deep the betrayal ran hit him like a tidal wave. He hadn't been a husband to her. He had been a placeholder. The first message was innocent enough, a check-in after a conference, but it quickly escalated into flirtation, then to full-blown plans for their meetings. Denver, Seattle, New York. Each trip was an opportunity to meet John. 5 different cities. 5 different hotels, 5 different nights she spent with him. Nathan's hands shook as he read through the texts, her words revealing someone he didn't know, someone who had been lying to him, while she smiled and played the part of a loving wife. One message stood out. Kayla, sometimes I feel like I'm suffocating here. Nathan's a good guy, but there's no spark anymore, you know? That was it. The moment he wasn't enough. The moment he became the safe choice while John was the escape. He spent the day contacting professionals. Walter, the private investigator, would dig into John's life further. Nathan learned more about the man who had taken his wife away. He was married with 2 kids, living in a $3 million house in Palo Alto. Successful, powerful, exactly the type of man who took what he wanted. At noon, Tiffany Mitchell called. She knew she wanted to meet. Meanwhile, Kayla texted about her conference, her lies stacking higher. Nathan played along, responding warmly, pretending nothing had changed. But it had. Kayla returned home after the weekend, looking radiant, like someone who had been adored and pampered. Nathan greeted her with a calm smile, even as his anger churned beneath the surface. She kissed him hard, acting like everything was fine. "I missed you so much," she said, still glowing. Nathan played his part, responding with affection. "Missed you too." But the whole time, he was planning the confrontation. She had lied again and again, and now it was time for her to face the consequences. After dinner, while they sat in the car, Nathan received a text from Tiffany Mitchell. "This is Tiffany Mitchell. We need to talk about your wife and my husband." Nathan agreed to meet her the next day, all while Kayla was obliviously discussing her amazing weekend with John. When they got home, Kayla found the manila envelope on the coffee table, divorce papers. The cold finality of it hit her immediately. She tried to deny, to justify, but Nathan didn't let her. He'd already read the texts, seen the lies, the betrayal. He explained how he knew about the affair, how she had lied for months. Kayla broke down, begging for forgiveness. "It was a mistake, Nathan. A mistake." But Nathan had no more patience for her excuses. "It wasn't just one mistake. It was months of lies. Every time you kissed me goodbye and went to sleep with him." Her tears didn't move him. "We're done," he said simply. "You made your choice. It's over." As Kayla cried, Nathan walked away, heading to the stairs. He was done. This was just the beginning. The next day he'd meet with Tiffany Mitchell. He had already filed for divorce. Now it was time to take control. Nathan woke up to an empty house and a text from Kayla sent at 3 a.m. "I'm staying at a hotel. We need to talk. Please don't do anything rash with the divorce. I love you." He deleted it without responding and headed to a coffee shop for his meeting with Tiffany Mitchell. Tiffany, looking tired, greeted him. She had hired an investigator, just like Nathan. She'd known about John's affair for 4 months, after finding receipts in his briefcase. They exchanged their findings. Tiffany had evidence of John's fraud, expensing hotel stays and dinners for his affair. "We're both divorcing them," Tiffany said bluntly, explaining that John was up for CEO and could lose everything if his affair came to light. They planned to strike together, exposing John's fraud and Kayla's affair, filing for divorce, and ensuring the public knew the truth. Nathan, however, wanted more than just legal consequences. "I want them to regret what they did every day," he said, determined to make them feel the psychological pain. Tiffany agreed to the plan, but reminded him that it had to stay legal. After their meeting, Nathan went back to work, distracted by the plan. Kayla's text asking him to talk appeared, but he told her to contact his lawyer. Later, Nathan met his coworker David at a bar. He shared the truth about the affair, and David expressed sympathy, saying, "You're better off without her." At home, Nathan found a note from Kayla, apologizing and asking for another chance. He crumpled it, went for a run, and felt calmer, ready for the next step. A text from Tiffany's burner phone confirmed their plan was moving forward. 2 weeks. Nathan replied, "Good, let's make it count." That night, Nathan lay alone in their bed for the first time in 7 years, contemplating the destruction he was about to bring to Kayla and John's lives. He let himself mourn for what he thought was his marriage. The 2 weeks were torturous. Kayla texted constantly, apologizing and begging for couples therapy. She showed up twice. Once, I ignored her. The second time, I told her to contact my lawyer. John called once, leaving a message apologizing and explaining their history. His words only fueled my hatred for him. I saved the voicemail for the evidence folder. Tiffany and I communicated daily through burner phones. She updated me on John's stress, his fights with the kids, and how she'd moved money from their accounts. She was handling her divorce with precision, and I admired her cold efficiency. Walter, my investigator, gave me regular updates on John's movements. his predictable routine and habits. He warned me to keep everything legal, and I assured him I was. Day 9 brought news. Kayla's attorney was contesting the divorce, claiming reconciliation was possible. My lawyer reassured me it wouldn't matter. We have the evidence. On day 12, I parked across from John's office, imagining him walking into work, unaware of the storm coming. That night, I reviewed the evidence folder again and found a chilling message from Kayla. John, do you ever feel guilty about Nathan? Kayla, sometimes. He's a good person. He doesn't deserve this. John, so why do you keep doing it? Kayla, because being with you makes me feel alive. Being with him makes me feel safe. I need both, I guess. Is that terrible? She knew. She had knowingly betrayed me for months, balancing safety with excitement. I was just her backup plan. The realization hardened me. On day 13, Tiffany texted, "Tomorrow, everything's ready." I texted back, "Ready, let's do this." I barely slept that night, and by 7 a.m. I was up running, trying to quiet my mind. At 8:30, Kayla texted again, "We can fix this. Please, let's talk." I ignored it. At 9, Tiffany confirmed the plan was in motion. No going back now. Richard, my lawyer, called at 9 mark out. The filing had gone public. Kayla was furious, her career at risk. I felt satisfaction, but also a cold emptiness. At 9:15, Kayla called. She screamed at me about ruining her life. I calmly reminded her of her lies and betrayal. She cried, calling it a mistake, but I stood firm. "You made your choices, Kayla. I'm making sure you face the consequences." At 9:30, Tiffany texted, "John's career is over. He's facing charges for fraud." At 10, Walter called, "John's heading your way. Looks like he's coming to confront you." I didn't care. Let him come. By 10:15, John arrived, looking like a man who'd lost everything. He threatened me, blaming me for his downfall. I calmly reminded him he ruined his own life. When he insulted me, I replied, "At least I'm not a cheater." He left, promising it wasn't over. I closed the door and felt nothing. Tiffany texted, "Be careful. John's not good at losing." I replied, "I will be." Later, alone in the house, I felt the weight of what I'd done. Kayla's career was likely over, and John faced criminal charges. They'd suffer for years. But me, I was alone with a cold satisfaction, questioning if this was what winning felt like. The fallout happened faster than I expected. By Tuesday afternoon, Kayla had been placed on administrative leave from her job pending an internal investigation. Her company didn't like the publicity of having a senior manager involved in an affair with a married executive from a partner firm. Bad optics, they said, reflected poorly on their values. I knew this because she left me a voicemail, crying so hard I could barely understand the words. "They're destroying me, Nathan. My whole career. Everything I worked for. All because you couldn't just forgive me. Is this what you wanted? To take away everything I care about?" I deleted the voicemail without finishing it. Wednesday, Tiffany called from her burner phone. She sounded energized, almost happy. "John's company filed a civil suit," she said, "trying to recover the money he spent on personal expenses. We're talking $50,000, Nathan. $50,000 in hotel rooms and dinners and champagne, all of it billed to his corporate card." Will he go to jail? Maybe. The company's pushing for criminal charges too. Embezzlement, fraud. Even if he doesn't do time, his reputation is destroyed. No tech company will touch him after this. I should have felt victorious. Instead, I felt hollow. "You okay?" Tiffany asked, reading my silence. "Yeah, just processing." Having second thoughts? Was I? I wasn't sure anymore. The revenge had seemed so clear, so necessary. But now that it was happening, now that I was watching two lives crater in real time, I felt something uncomfortably close to guilt. "No," I said finally. "They made their choices." Damn right they did. After we hung up, I sat at my kitchen table and thought about what came next. The divorce would take months. The property division would be messy. Kayla was already fighting for half the house, half my retirement, alimony. Richard warned me to prepare for a long battle. But the real damage wasn't financial. It was psychological. Kayla was unraveling. I could hear it in her voice every time she called, could see it in the increasingly desperate text messages. "Kayla, please talk to me. I can't eat, can't sleep. I'm losing my mind." "Kayla, I went by the house today. You changed the locks. How am I supposed to get my things?" "Kayla, my mom won't talk to me. She says I'm a disgrace to the family. My sister blocked my number. You did this. You told everyone. I hadn't told anyone. The divorce filing had done that for me. Public records were public for a reason. Kayla's family had probably searched her name online, found the court documents, read every sordid detail. I didn't respond to her texts. What was there to say? That I was sorry? I wasn't. That I still loved her? I didn't. On Thursday, I went to work like normal. Sat at my desk, processed insurance claims, had lunch with David. He asked how I was doing. Honestly, I'm not sure. Divorce going through? Yeah, she's fighting it, but my lawyer says it doesn't matter. The evidence is overwhelming. David nodded. Good. You need anything? Want to grab drinks later? Sure, yeah, that sounds good. We went to Murphy's again. I drank more than I should have. Told David about the plan with Tiffany, about the revenge we'd orchestrated. He listened without judgment. That's pretty hardcore, he said finally. But I get it. They hurt you, you hurt them back. It's only fair. Is it, though? Fair? What do you mean? Kayla lost her job. John might go to prison. Their lives are completely destroyed. And yeah, they cheated, they lied, they deserved consequences. But did they deserve this much? David looked at me seriously. Nathan, they didn't just cheat. They humiliated you. They laughed about you behind your back. They made you feel small and stupid and worthless. So yeah, I think they deserved exactly what they got. I wanted to believe him. Wanted to feel that righteous anger again. That certainty that what I was doing was justified. But all I felt was tired. Friday, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. The subject line read, "From John." I almost deleted it without opening, but curiosity won. Nathan. I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I know you hate me, and I understand why. But I need to say this. What Kayla and I had was real. It wasn't just an affair. It wasn't just physical closeness. We genuinely love each other. We tried to stay away, tried to do the right thing, but we couldn't. Some connections are too strong to ignore. I'm not asking for your forgiveness. I'm not even asking for your understanding. I just want you to know that we never meant to hurt you. It wasn't about making you feel small or stupid. It was about us finding each other again after all these years apart. You can hate me forever. You can keep destroying my life. But that won't change what Kayla and I have. That's real, no matter what you do. John. I read the email 3 times. Each time my anger grew. He still didn't get it. None of it. He thought this was about their love story, about some grand romance that justified betrayal. He thought if he just explained it right, I'd understand. He was wrong. I hit reply. John. You're right. I don't want to hear from you, and you're wrong about everything else. You think what you and Kayla had was love? It was selfishness. It was 2 people deciding their happiness mattered more than their commitments. You destroyed your marriage. She destroyed ours. You hurt your kids. She hurt me. And you did it all while telling yourselves it was romantic. You want to know what love actually is? Love is staying. Love is keeping your promises even when it's hard. Love is not destroying someone's life because you're bored or nostalgic or chasing a feeling from college. What you and Kayla have isn't real. It's a fantasy built on lies and hotel rooms and stolen moments. It only worked because you both had other people to go home to. Now that you're both alone, facing real consequences, let's see how long your connection lasts. Don't contact me again. Nathan. I hit send and closed my laptop. That night, I dreamed about Kayla. We were back at our wedding, standing at the altar, and she was smiling at me with that radiant happiness I remembered. But when the minister asked if she took me as her husband, she turned and walked away. Just walked straight down the aisle and out of the church while I stood there watching her leave. I woke up in a cold sweat, heart pounding. Saturday morning, I went to the house that used to be ours and started packing up Kayla's things. Her clothes, her books, her toiletries. Everything that reminded me of her. I put it all in boxes, methodical and careful, like I was erasing a person from existence. My phone rang. Tiffany. Have you seen Kayla's Instagram? She asked. No, I unfollowed her. Check it. She posted something. I opened Instagram, searched for Kayla's profile. Her latest post was from an hour ago, a photo of her sitting on a hotel bed, no makeup, hair messy, looking directly at the camera with red-rimmed eyes. The caption read, "Sometimes you make mistakes that cost you everything. Sometimes you hurt people who didn't deserve it. Sometimes you have to live with consequences that feel impossible to bear. I'm sorry to everyone I've hurt. I'm sorry to Nathan most of all. I hope someday I can forgive myself, even if no one else ever does. The post had 73 comments. I scrolled through them. Most were from friends offering support. A few were cruel, calling her a homewrecker and worse. Someone had posted a link to the divorce filing. Pathetic, Tiffany said on the phone. She's playing the victim now, looking for sympathy. Maybe she really does feel sorry, I said. Do you care? Did I? I looked at the photo again. Kayla looks broken, lost, like someone who'd gambled everything and lost. No, I said. I don't care. But that was a lie. Some small part of me still cared, still remembered the woman I'd fallen in love with 7 years ago, still wondered if she'd ever really existed or if I'd just imagined her. Good, Tiffany said, because John's doing the same thing. Posted on Facebook about how he's learned from his mistakes, how he's committed to being better. It's all PR. They're both trying to salvage their reputations. Let them try. Monday morning, I went back to work. Tried to focus on normal things, insurance claims, paperwork, coffee breaks. But my phone kept buzzing with updates. Kayla's lawyer wanted to schedule a mediation. Richard wanted to discuss strategy. Tiffany wanted to coordinate next steps. At lunch, I drove past Kayla's hotel. I don't know why. Maybe I wanted to see where she was staying, wanted to visualize her life now. The hotel was a mid-range chain off the highway, the kind of place business travelers stayed for a night or two. Kayla had been there for almost 2 weeks. I wondered if John was with her, if they'd finally gotten their fantasy, living together without spouses or responsibilities, if they were happy. Somehow, I doubted it. That afternoon, Walter called with an update. John Mitchell moved out of his house, he said. Got a corporate apartment in the city. Looks like Tiffany kicked him out for good. What about the criminal charges? Still pending. The DA is reviewing the case. Could go either way. I thanked him and hung up. Another piece of the puzzle falling into place. John was losing his family, his home, his career, everything collapsing at once. I should have felt satisfied. Instead, I felt empty. That night, I sat in my living room with all the lights off, thinking about what I'd done, about whether revenge had given me what I wanted, about whether destroying Kayla and John had fixed anything inside me. It hadn't. I was still alone, still hurt, still trying to figure out who I was without the marriage that had defined me for 7 years. The revenge hadn't healed me. It had just distracted me from the pain. My phone buzzed, a text from a number I didn't recognize. Unknown. This is Kayla. I'm texting from a friend's phone because you blocked me. I need my grandmother's ring back, the one in your dresser drawer. It's the only thing I care about from the house. Please. The ring. I'd forgotten about it. Kayla's grandmother had given it to her before she passed, a small emerald surrounded by diamonds. Kayla had worn it on special occasions, kept it safe the rest of the time. I went upstairs, opened my dresser drawer, found the ring in a small velvet box. I could give it back. It would be the kind thing to do. The ring meant nothing to me, but everything to her, or I could keep it. One more thing taken away. One more punishment for what she'd done. I held the box in my hand for a long time, thinking. Finally, I texted back, Nathan, I'll leave it with Richard Stevens. You can pick it up from his office. Unknown. Thank you. That means more than you know. I put the box in my briefcase to drop off tomorrow. Then I went to bed and tried not to think about the look on Kayla's face when her grandmother had given her that ring, the way she'd cried and promised to take care of it forever. Some promises were easier to keep than others. Tuesday afternoon, John showed up at my office. I was in the middle of reviewing a claim when my desk phone rang. The receptionist sounded nervous. Nathan, there's someone here to see you. He doesn't have an appointment, but he says it's urgent. His name is John Mitchell. My stomach dropped. Tell him I'm not available. He's being kind of aggressive, demanding to see you. Should I call security? I thought about it. Part of me wanted to hide behind security guards and office policies. But another part wanted to face him, wanted this confrontation that had been building for weeks. It's okay, I said. I'll come down. I took the elevator to the lobby. John was standing by the reception desk, looking worse than when he'd shown up at my house. His suit was wrinkled, his face unshaven, his eyes hollow. Nathan, he said when he saw me, we need to talk. We have nothing to talk about. Please, 5 minutes, outside. Against my better judgment, I nodded. We walked out to the parking lot, far enough from the building that no one could hear us. What do you want, John? He ran a hand through his hair, looked at the ground. I want you to stop. Whatever you're doing, whatever you and Tiffany are planning, just stop. You've made your point. We get it. We screwed up, but this has gone too far. Too far? I felt my anger flare. You destroyed my marriage. Tiffany's kids don't understand why their dad left. Your company is prosecuting you for fraud. And you think I've gone too far? The criminal charges aren't fair. You stole from your company. You used corporate funds for personal expenses. That's literally fraud. I was going to pay it back. But you didn't. You just kept taking and lying and thinking you'd never get caught. I stepped closer. You know what your problem is, John. You think the rules don't apply to you? You think because you're successful and charming and important, you can do whatever you want. But the rules apply to everyone, even you. His face flushed red. You self-righteous bastard. You act like you're some kind of saint, but you're just a bitter, vindictive asshole who can't handle the fact that his wife found someone better. The words hit their target. I felt something snap inside me. Better? I said quietly. You think you're better than me? You're a liar and a cheater and a fraud. You destroyed your family. You corrupted my wife. You built your entire life on deception. What part of that is better? Kayla loves me. Kayla doesn't know what love is, and neither do you. You're both selfish children who thought you could have everything without consequences. John's hands clenched into fists. I should have known you'd be like this. Kayla said you were bitter and small, said you'd never understand what it meant to feel real passion. That was it, the last straw. I shoved him hard. He stumbled backward, caught himself against a car. Don't talk to me about Kayla, I said. Don't talk to me about passion or understanding or any of your bullshit justifications. You're nothing. You hear me? Nothing. John straightened up, eyes blazing. For a second, I thought he was going to swing at me. I wanted him to. Wanted an excuse to hit him back. To make this physical instead of just emotional, but he didn't. He just stood there, breathing hard. This isn't over, he said. Yes, it is. Go home, John. Or go to your lawyer's office. Or go to whatever sad apartment you're living in now. I don't care. Just stay away from me. I turned and walked back toward my office building. Heard John behind me, heard him call my name, ignored him. Back at my desk, my hands were shaking. I'd never been in a physical confrontation before, had never shoved someone in anger. It felt simultaneously terrible and satisfying. David appeared at my cubicle. Everything okay? Saw you outside with some guy. Fine, just someone from the divorce. He giving you trouble? Nothing I can't handle. But that night, alone in my house, I wasn't so sure. The confrontation with John had shaken something loose in me, made me realize how much anger I was still carrying, how much I wanted to hurt him for what he'd done. Walter called around 8. Heard you had a visitor at work today, he said. You're still following him? Tiffany's paying me to keep tabs. Figured you'd want to know. After he left your office, John went straight to Kayla's hotel, spent 2 hours there, then left looking even worse than when he arrived. They're probably planning what to do next, I said. Maybe. Or maybe they're realizing their fantasy doesn't work in the real world. Either way, thought you should know. After we hung up, I sat on my couch and thought about Kayla and John together in that hotel room. Were they comforting each other? Blaming me and Tiffany for their problems? Or were they finally seeing each other clearly without the excitement of an affair to cloud their judgment? I hoped it was the latter, hoped they were realizing that what they'd had was never real, was just an escape from their actual lives. My phone buzzed. Tiffany. John came to see me today, she said. Showed up at my parents' house in Boston. Wanted to see the kids. Did you let him? For an hour. Supervised. The kids were confused. My daughter asked why Daddy looked so sad. I didn't know what to tell her. I heard the pain in Tiffany's voice. For all her toughness, for all her planning and revenge, she was still a mother watching her children hurt. I'm sorry, I said. Don't be. This is on him. He chose Kayla over his family. He gets to live with that choice. She paused. Nathan, I need to ask you something. Are you still sure about all this? The revenge, the public exposure, everything? Why? Because I'm watching my kids hurt. I'm watching John fall apart. And part of me wonders if we went too far, if we became the bad guys. I thought about it, about Kayla's desperate texts and social media posts, about John's hollow eyes and shaking hands, about the collateral damage, Tiffany's kids, Kayla's family, everyone caught in the blast radius of our revenge. I don't know, I admitted. But what's done is done. We can't take it back now. No, Tiffany agreed. We can't. We hung up. I sat in the silence of my empty house and wondered if winning was supposed to feel this hollow. Wednesday, Kayla called from yet another unknown number. This time I answered. What do you want? I need to see you, she said. Her voice was different, smaller, defeated. Please, Nathan, just one conversation, face to face. Why? Because I need to say things I can't say over text or voicemail, because I need you to see me, really see me, and understand how sorry I am. Every instinct told me to say no, to hang up and block this number too, but something else, some masochistic curiosity, made me agree. Tomorrow, I said. Noon. The park near our house. Okay, thank you. I'll be there. I hung up and immediately regretted it. What was I hoping to accomplish? What could Kayla possibly say that would matter now? But I'd agreed, so Thursday at noon, I drove to the park and sat on a bench near the playground where we used to talk about bringing our future kids, where we'd imagined a life that would never exist now. Kayla arrived 10 minutes late, walking slowly like every step hurt. She'd lost weight. Her clothes hung loose on her frame. Her face looked gaunt. She sat down on the bench, leaving space between us. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Just sat there, watching kids play on the swings while their parents watched from a distance. Thank you for meeting me, Kayla finally said. I'm not here to forgive you, I said, if that's what you're hoping. I know, I just needed to tell you some things in person, things I couldn't say any other way. I waited. I destroyed us, she said. I know that now. I destroyed the best thing in my life because I was stupid and selfish and convinced myself I deserved to feel a certain way. And I'm so sorry. Okay? That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say, Kayla? That I accept your apology? That everything's fine now? It's not fine. It won't be fine. You didn't just make a mistake. You made hundreds of choices over 6 months to betray me. Every text, every lie, every time you looked me in the eye and pretended everything was normal, those were choices. She was crying now, tears streaming down her face. I know. I hate myself for what I did. I can't sleep, can't eat, can't function. I lost my job, my family won't talk to me. I'm living in a hotel room and using all my savings to pay for lawyers. Everything I built is gone. And you think I should feel sorry for you? No. I think you should understand that I'm paying for what I did, that I've lost everything that mattered, that the punishment has already happened. I turned to look at her fully. Has it, though? Have you really lost everything that mattered? Because from where I'm sitting, you still have John. You got what you wanted. You're free to be with the man you actually love instead of being stuck with boring, unperceptive Nathan. She flinched. John and I aren't together. What? We tried. After everything came out, we figured maybe now we could finally be together without hiding. But it didn't work. Without the affair, without the excitement of sneaking around, there was nothing there. We barely lasted a week before we realized we didn't actually know each other. We just knew the fantasy versions we'd created. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I felt nothing. So you destroyed 2 marriages for a fantasy, I said. Yes, and I have to live with that for the rest of my life. We sat in silence, watched a mother push her daughter on the swings, both of them laughing. That could have been us someday, I thought, if Kayla had made different choices, if I'd been enough for her. I need you to know something, Kayla said quietly. I did love you. Maybe not the way you deserved, maybe not enough to stop me from making terrible choices. But I loved you, the way you took care of me, the way you made me feel safe, the way you believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. That was real. Safe, I repeated. You loved that I made you feel safe, not that you loved me. She didn't deny it. I hope someday you can forgive me, she said. Not for my sake, for yours. So you can move on and be happy and find someone who deserves you. I'll move on, I said. But I'll never forgive you. What you did wasn't just about us. It was about respect and trust and basic human decency. You treated me like I was disposable, like our marriage was just a convenience you could set aside whenever something better came along. Kayla stood up. I understand. I just wanted you to hear me say I'm sorry. That's all. She started to walk away. I watched her go. This woman I'd once planned a whole future with. She looked smaller now, diminished. Whatever fire had made her attractive to me 7 years ago had been extinguished. Kayla, I called out. She turned back. I hope you figure out who you are, I said. Without John, without me, without anyone to make you feel safe or alive or whatever you're looking for. I hope you figure out how to be a person who doesn't need to destroy other people to feel whole. She nodded, tears streaming down her face again. Then she walked away, and I let her go. I sat on that bench for another hour, thinking about everything that had happened. About the man I'd been when I married Kayla and the man I was now. About whether revenge had changed me or just revealed who I'd always been underneath the nice guy exterior. My phone buzzed. Tiffany. Just got word from my lawyer. John signed the divorce papers. No contest. He's giving me everything. The house, primary custody, child support. He's completely broken. That's good, I said. That's what you wanted. Is it, though? I wanted him to hurt the way he hurt me. And he is hurting. But it doesn't make me feel better. It just makes me feel empty. Yeah, I said. I know the feeling. We hung up. I drove home through familiar streets, past the coffee shop where Kayla and I used to get breakfast on weekends, past the movie theater where we'd watch terrible romantic comedies, past the grocery store where we'd argue about what to make for dinner. All these places full of memories that didn't mean anything anymore. At home, I found a letter taped to my front door. Kayla's handwriting on the envelope. Inside was a single page. Nathan, I know you'll never read this, but I needed to write it anyway. I needed to tell you that you were right about everything. I was selfish and cruel, and I took you for granted. I convinced myself that I deserved excitement and passion and that it was okay to hurt you to get it. I was wrong. You were a good husband. You were patient and kind, and you loved me better than I loved myself. And I threw it away for a fantasy that fell apart the moment it became real. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even expect you to care. I just wanted you to know that I see now what I lost. I see what I had and what I destroyed, and I'm sorrier than words can express. I hope you find someone who deserves you, someone who sees your worth and never takes it for granted, someone who makes you happy in all the ways I failed to. Goodbye, Nathan. Kayla. I read the letter twice. Then I folded it carefully and put it in a drawer with all the other evidence I'd collected. Not because I wanted to keep it, just because it felt like the end of something, and endings deserve to be preserved. That night, I slept better than I had in weeks. The anger that had been driving me was finally starting to fade, replaced by something quieter, not quite peace, but maybe acceptance. The revenge was over. Kayla and John had faced their consequences. Tiffany and I had made sure of that. Now came the hard part, figuring out how to live with what we'd done. The divorce was finalized on a Tuesday in November. 3 months after I'd first discovered Kayla's iPad messages. 3 months of lawyers and paperwork and dividing up a life we'd built together. 3 months of watching Kayla spiral while I tried to figure out who I was without her. Richard called me that afternoon. It's done, he said. Judge signed off on everything. The house is yours, she keeps her car and half the savings. No alimony since the adultery was proven. Clean break. Okay, I said. You don't sound happy. I'm not unhappy. I'm just tired. That's normal. Divorce is exhausting, even when it's justified. Take some time. Focus on yourself. You'll be okay. I hung up and sat at my desk, staring at nothing. It was over. My marriage to Kayla was legally dissolved. We were strangers now, connected only by paperwork and painful memories. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt numb. That night, I went home to my empty house and poured myself a whiskey. Sat on the couch in the dark, thinking about everything that had happened, about the man I'd been before, trusting, maybe naive, certainly happier, about the man I was now, harder, wiser, alone. Was I better off? I honestly didn't know. My phone buzzed. Walter. Walter called with an update. John pled guilty to embezzlement. He got probation, no jail time. His career's over. He's working retail, making minimum wage. His divorce from Tiffany is final, and he's living in a studio apartment. I tried to feel something, triumph maybe, but all I felt was sadness. Sad for John's kids growing up without him, sad for the waste, 2 careers ruined, 2 families broken. Thanks for the update, I said. You done with all this? Want me to stop surveillance? Yeah, I'm done. Good. You did the right thing. They hurt you. You made them face consequences. That's justice. Was it, or was it just revenge? After hanging up, Tiffany called. Did you hear about John? Just now. I should feel happy, but I don't. I just feel empty. Yeah, me too. My kids asked about him again. How do I explain he's never coming back? We sat in silence. 2 people who'd orchestrated revenge, now left with emptiness. Neither of us felt like winners. Was it worth it? Tiffany asked. I thought about Kayla's letter. John working retail, Tiffany's kids confused. I don't know, I admitted. I thought it would fix something, but it didn't. I'm still angry, hurt, and alone. The revenge didn't change that. So what now? We move forward. We try to be better. We don't let what they did turn us into something we're not. Is it too late for that? Maybe. Maybe when I decided to destroy them instead of just divorcing, I crossed a line. I don't think so, I said, though I wasn't sure. I think we can still choose who we want to be. After we hung up, I sat in the dark, thinking about the future, about whether I could ever trust again. Around midnight, I received a message from John. You won. I lost everything. Kayla lost everything. We're both paying for what we did. You can stop now. I stared at it, wondering if I should respond. Instead, I typed, It wasn't about winning. It was about consequences. You and Kayla hurt people who trusted you. What happened to you wasn't revenge. It was accountability. Maybe someday you'll understand the difference. I blocked his number and began clearing out the house, packing everything that reminded me of Kayla. David helped me repaint the bedroom. We turned it into a space that felt like mine, not ours. Looks good, David said. Fresh start. Yeah, I said. Fresh start. But it didn't feel fresh. It felt like covering up wounds instead of healing them. Back at work on Monday, I processed insurance claims and pretended to be fine. Colleagues offered sympathetic words. You're better off without her. You'll find someone better. I smiled, nodded, and said nothing. Because the truth was more complicated. Yes, Kayla had betrayed me. Yes, she'd deserved consequences. But I wasn't sure I deserved to be happy again, not after what I'd done to get revenge, not after I'd methodically destroyed two people's lives because they'd hurt me. That night, I got a message on Facebook from someone I didn't know, a woman named Jennifer Collins. Jennifer? Hi, Nathan. You don't know me, but I'm Kayla's friend from college. She asked me to reach out to you. She wants you to know she's moving to Portland. Fresh start, new job. She wanted to say goodbye, but didn't think you'd want to hear from her directly. She wanted me to tell you that she's sorry and that she hopes you find happiness. I looked at the message for a long time. Kayla was leaving, starting over somewhere new where nobody knew about the affair or the divorce or the public humiliation. Part of me was glad. Glad I wouldn't have to worry about running into her at the grocery store or seeing her car around town. Glad she'd be gone and I could start forgetting. But another part of me felt something like regret. For the marriage that could have been, for the life we'd planned, for the version of Kayla I'd fallen in love with, even if she'd never really existed. I typed back, Nathan, tell her I hope she finds what she's looking for, and tell her I hope she treats the next person better than she treated me. Jennifer responded with a thumbs-up emoji and went offline. That was it. My last communication about Kayla. The final ending to a story that had consumed 6 months of my life. I sat in my living room, in the house that was finally just mine, and felt the weight of it all settle over me. The revenge was complete. Kayla and John had lost everything. Tiffany and I had won. But victory tasted like ashes, like something burned and irretrievable. My phone buzzed one last time that night. Tiffany. Tiffany. John signed away his parental rights today. He's giving up custody completely. Says he can't be the father they need right now. My kids are devastated. Nathan. I'm sorry. Tiffany. Are you, though? This is what we wanted. For them to lose everything. Well, they did. They lost it all. And my kids lost their father. Was it worth it? I stared at the message, trying to find an answer that felt true. Finally, I wrote, Nathan, no, it wasn't worth it, but it's done now. We can't take it back. We just have to live with it. Tiffany, I don't know if I can. Nathan, we don't have a choice. I put my phone away and went to bed, lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling, thinking about all the choices that had led here. Kayla's choice to cheat, my choice to get revenge, Tiffany's choice to help me, John's choice to give up his kids, all of us making decisions that seemed right at the time but led to ruin. I closed my eyes and tried to sleep, tried not to think about Kayla packing up her life in some hotel room, preparing to flee to Portland and start over. Tried not to think about John stocking shelves in a mall, his Harvard degree and executive experience worthless now. Tried not to think about Tiffany's kids asking when Daddy was coming home. Tried not to think about the man I'd become, someone capable of destroying lives with cold precision, someone who traded his capacity for forgiveness for the satisfaction of revenge. Somewhere around 3 a.m., I finally fell asleep and dreamed of Kayla at our wedding, smiling at me like I was the only person in the world, before she turned and walked away down the aisle, leaving me standing alone at the altar. When I woke up, my face was wet with tears. 6 months later, I sat in a different coffee shop in a different part of town, watching strangers live their lives and wondering if I'd ever feel normal again. The divorce was ancient history now. Kayla was in Portland, working at some tech startup, posting carefully curated photos on Instagram of her new apartment and new friends and new life. She looked happy, or at least she looked like she was trying to convince everyone she was happy. John had disappeared entirely. No social media, no public presence, just gone. Walter had stopped surveillance months ago, but he'd heard through the grapevine that John moved somewhere in the Midwest, working construction or landscaping or something equally far from his old life. Tiffany and I texted occasionally, brief exchanges about how we were doing, how her kids were adjusting, whether we had any regrets. The answer to that last one was always yes, even if neither of us said it explicitly. Her daughter had started therapy. Her son refused to talk about John at all, just pretended he'd never had a father. Tiffany blamed herself for that, blamed the revenge we'd orchestrated, blamed everything except the person actually responsible. I'd tried dating, downloaded apps, went on a few awkward dinners with perfectly nice women who didn't deserve my emotional baggage. Every time, I'd find myself comparing them to Kayla. Not favorably, just compulsively, unable to turn off the part of my brain that remembered what it felt like to trust someone completely. Work was work. I got promoted. Michael said I'd been more focused lately, more driven. I didn't tell him it was because I had nothing else in my life to focus on. No wife, no plans for kids, no future beyond the next insurance claim to process. David had moved to Phoenix for a job opportunity. We kept in touch, but it wasn't the same. Everyone from my old life was falling away, leaving me alone with my victories and regrets. My phone buzzed, a text from my mom asking if I was coming for Thanksgiving. I'd been avoiding the question for weeks. Couldn't face the thought of sitting at a family table, being asked about Kayla, having to explain for the 100th time that we were divorced, and no, there was no chance of reconciliation. I typed back, "Maybe, I'll let you know." The coffee shop door opened. A couple walked in, laughing about something, the man's hand on the small of the woman's back. They looked happy, looked like they trusted each other, looked like everything Kayla and I had pretended to be. I finished my coffee and left. At home, I found a package on my doorstep. No return address, just my name in handwriting I didn't recognize. Inside was a book. The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. A sticky note was attached to the cover. Nathan, thought you might appreciate this. Another story about revenge and whether it's worth the cost. Take care of yourself. S. Tiffany. Of course, she'd always been more literary than me. I opened the book and read the dedication, "To those who believe that revenge will heal them and then discover otherwise." I sat on my couch and started reading, lost myself in a story written over a century ago about a man who'd dedicated his life to destroying the people who'd wronged him, a man who'd won everything he'd set out to win and discovered that victory was hollow. By page 50, I'd started crying. Not dramatic, heaving sobs, just quiet tears running down my face as I read about Edmond Dantes, realizing that revenge hadn't given him back what he'd lost, that nothing could give him back what he'd lost. I put the book down and looked around my house. The home Kayla and I had bought together, now stripped of every trace of her. Repainted walls, new furniture, different curtains. A space that was supposed to feel like mine but just felt empty. I'd won. That's what everyone kept telling me. I'd exposed Kayla's affair, destroyed her career, made sure she faced consequences. I'd helped Tiffany do the same to John. We'd executed our plan perfectly, coordinated our revenge with precision, hit them from every angle until they had nothing left. And here I was, sitting alone in an empty house, crying over a book about revenge, wondering what the hell I'd actually accomplished. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Nathan?" Kayla's voice. I hadn't heard it in 6 months. "How did you get this number?" I asked. "I never deleted it. I needed to call. Is that okay?" "I don't know. Why are you calling?" She was quiet for a moment. I heard traffic in the background, voices, the sounds of a city that wasn't ours. "I'm in therapy," she said finally. "Have been for 4 months now. My therapist says I need to make amends to the people I hurt. Not for me, for them, to give them closure or whatever. I don't need closure from you. Maybe not, but I need to say some things anyway. Can you just listen? For 2 minutes?" I should have hung up, should have protected myself from whatever new manipulation this was, but curiosity won out. 2 minutes, I said. Thank you. She took a breath. I've been thinking a lot about what I did to you, to us, and I realized something. I didn't just cheat on you. I didn't just lie. I took away your ability to trust. I made you question everything, your judgment, your worth, whether you were enough, and that's something I can never give back to you. I said nothing. Let her continue. My therapist asked me what I would say if I could go back and talk to myself 6 months before the affair started. You know what I said? I'd tell myself that the problem wasn't you. It was never you. You were exactly who you were supposed to be, stable, loving, committed. The problem was me. I was broken in ways I didn't understand. I was chasing something that didn't exist because I was too afraid to face what I actually needed. Which was? Therapy, help, someone to tell me that marriage isn't supposed to feel exciting every day, that stability isn't the same as boring, that the grass isn't greener, it's just different grass. I laughed, bitter and short. So you destroyed our marriage because you were bored and needed therapy? I destroyed our marriage because I was selfish and cowardly, and I convinced myself I deserved to feel a certain way more than I deserved to keep my promises. And I'm sorry, Nathan. I'm so sorry. I don't forgive you. I know. I don't expect you to. I just wanted you to know that you were right about everything. About me, about John, about the fantasy falling apart. You were right, and I was wrong, and I have to live with that for the rest of my life. How's Portland? I asked, changing the subject. Lonely. I don't really have friends here yet. My job is okay, but it's not what I had before. I go to work, go home, go to therapy, repeat. That's my life now. John gave up his parental rights. She was quiet. I know. Tiffany told me. That's the worst part of all this. We didn't just hurt you and Tiffany. We hurt innocent kids who didn't do anything wrong. John's kids lost their father, all because we couldn't control ourselves. Yeah. More silence. I could hear her breathing on the other end of the line. Are you happy? She asked suddenly. The question caught me off guard. Was I happy? I had the house, the job, the victory. I'd made Kayla and John pay for what they'd done. By every measure, I should be happy. No, I said honestly. I'm not happy. I'm just existing, going through the motions, waiting to feel something other than empty. I'm sorry I did that to you. Me too. Nathan. Yeah? I hope you find someone who deserves you, someone who sees how lucky they are to have someone loyal and good and willing to fight for them, someone who doesn't take you for granted. I'm not sure I can trust anyone again. You kind of broke that in me. Then I'm sorrier than words can say. She paused. I need to go. My therapist is waiting, but thank you for listening. It means more than you know. Kayla? Yes? I hope you figure out how to be happy, not for my sake, for yours. I hope you learn how to be the person you should have been all along. Thank you, she whispered. Then the line went dead. I sat there holding my phone, feeling something shift inside me. Not forgiveness, I wasn't ready for that, might never be ready, but something like release, like I'd been holding my breath for 6 months and could finally exhale. The next day, I called Tiffany. I heard from Kayla, I said. Yeah? What did she want? To apologize, to make amends or whatever. Her therapist told her to. That's convenient. Apologize now that the damage is done? Maybe, but I think she meant it. I think she really does feel guilty about what happened. Tiffany was quiet for a moment. Does that make you feel better? A little. Not much, but a little. It made me realize something, though. What? We can't live in revenge forever. We can't keep being the people we became when we were trying to destroy them. At some point, we have to decide who we want to be going forward. And who do you want to be? I thought about it. About the man I'd been before, trusting, maybe naive, but fundamentally good. About the man I'd become, calculating, vengeful, capable of cruelty. About who I wanted to be moving forward. Someone better than both of those versions, I said finally. Someone who learned from what happened but didn't let it define him. Someone who can trust again, eventually. Someone who can be happy. That sounds nice, Tiffany said. I'm not sure I know how to get there. Me neither, but I think the first step is forgiving ourselves. For what we did, for how far we went with the revenge, for becoming people we didn't recognize. I'm not sure I deserve forgiveness. Neither am I, but I think we have to try anyway. Otherwise we let them win. We let what they did turn us into monsters. Tiffany was crying now. I could hear it in her voice. My kids asked about John again yesterday. My daughter said she misses him, and I realized that by destroying him, I took their father away. That's on me. That's on us. I know. So what do? We try to be better. We try to help your kids heal. We try to figure out how to live with what we've done. And maybe, eventually, we try to be happy. We talked for another hour. Made plans to have coffee next week, face-to-face instead of through burner phones and anonymous texts. Made plans to stop being co-conspirators in revenge and start being friends who helped each other heal. When we hung up, I felt lighter than I had in months. That weekend, I started going through the boxes in my garage. All the things I'd packed away, photos of Kayla and me, wedding albums, mementos from our relationship. I'd been avoiding them, couldn't face the memories. But now I sat on the garage floor and opened box after box. Looked at photos of us laughing, of us on vacation, of us building a life together. And for the first time, I didn't feel angry or hurt. I just felt sad. Sad for what we'd had and what we'd lost. Sad for the people we'd been before everything fell apart. I found a photo from our wedding day. Kayla in her white dress, me in my suit, both of us beaming at the camera like we'd won the lottery. We looked so young, so hopeful, so certain that love was enough. I put the photo in a frame and set it on my dresser. Not because I wanted to remember Kayla specifically, but because I wanted to remember what it felt like to believe in forever, to trust completely, to love without reservations. I wanted to remember so I could someday do it again with someone who deserved it. The months passed. I went to therapy myself, figured if Kayla could do it, so could I. Talked to a kind woman named Dr. Patterson about trust and betrayal and revenge, and whether good people could do bad things and still be good. "Do you think you're a good person?" she asked me one session. "I don't know anymore. I did some pretty terrible things to Kayla and John." "But they did terrible things to you first. Does that make it okay?" She smiled, that patient therapist smile. "What do you think?" I think we were all wrong. They were wrong to cheat and lie. I was wrong to destroy them so completely. Tiffany was wrong to help me. We were all wrong, just in different ways." "And what does that mean for you moving forward?" "It means I have to forgive myself. It means I have to figure out how to be the person I want to be instead of the person they made me. It means I have to try again." "Try what again?" "Everything. Trust, love, hope, all the things I thought they broke in me. I have to try again, or they win." Dr. Patterson nodded. "That's very wise, Nathan." I started dating again. Nothing serious, just coffee dates and casual dinners with women who seemed nice. It was hard. Every time someone texted, I wondered if they were lying about where they were. Every time someone was late, I wondered if they were with someone else. Every time someone was quiet, I wondered what they were hiding. But I kept trying, kept pushing through the paranoia and fear, kept reminding myself that not everyone was Kayla, that not every relationship would end in betrayal. One of the women I dated was named Rachel. She was a teacher, had a laugh that reminded me of wind chimes, loved terrible reality TV shows. We went out 5 times before I told her about the divorce, about Kayla's affair, about the revenge I'd orchestrated. I expected her to run, to decide I was too damaged, too complicated, too angry. Instead, she took my hand across the table. "That sounds really painful," she said. "I'm sorry you went through that." I did some things I'm not proud of. We all have. The question is who you want to be now. I want to be someone who can trust again, someone who doesn't see betrayal around every corner, someone who can be happy. She smiled. "That sounds like a good goal?" We dated for 3 months before I told her I loved her. She said it back. And for the first time since Kayla, I believed it. Believed that someone could love me and not be lying. Could promise forever and actually mean it. I called Tiffany to tell her, "That's wonderful, Nathan. I'm really happy for you." "How are you doing? How are the kids?" "Better. They're in therapy. They talk about John sometimes, but it doesn't hurt as much anymore. And I'm dating someone too, a guy from work. It's early, but it's nice. It's nice to feel like a person again instead of just a victim or a villain." "We were both," I said. "That's what I've learned. We were victims of their betrayal and villains in our revenge. We were both at the same time. And now? Now we're just people trying to do better. That's all we can be." After we hung up, I sat in my living room. Not Kayla's living room, not our living room, but my living room, and felt something I hadn't felt in over a year. Peace, not happiness, not yet. But peace. The quiet acceptance that what happened happened, that I couldn't change it, that all I could do was move forward and try to be better. Kayla had destroyed our marriage. I'd destroyed her life in response. We'd both lost things we could never get back, and now we both had to live with the choices we'd made. But living with those choices didn't mean being defined by them. It meant learning from them. It meant growing. It meant figuring out how to be whole again after being broken. I picked up my phone and typed out a text to Kayla, not to reopen old wounds or to relitigate the past, just to say one final thing. Nathan, I forgive you, not because what you did was okay, not because I've forgotten, but because holding on to anger was poisoning me. So I forgive you, and I hope you forgive yourself, and I hope we both find happiness, even if we couldn't find it together. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. 3 hours later, my phone buzzed. Kayla, thank you. That means more than you know. I forgive you, too, for what it's worth, for everything that happened after. We both did our worst. Maybe now we can both do our best. Be happy, Nathan. You deserve it. I read the message twice, then deleted the thread. Not out of anger, just out of acceptance. Kayla was my past. Rachel was potentially my future, and I was finally ready to stop living in between. That night, Rachel came over. We cooked dinner together, watched a movie, fell asleep on the couch tangled up in each other. And when I woke up in the middle of the night, I didn't check her phone, didn't look for evidence of betrayal, didn't assume the worst. I just held her and went back to sleep. A year and a half after Kayla's betrayal, I proposed to Rachel. Different beach than the one where I'd proposed to Kayla, different ring, different life. When she said yes, I believed it. Believed in forever again, even after everything. We got married in a small ceremony with close friends and family. Tiffany came, brought her boyfriend, her kids. She hugged me before the ceremony. You did it, she said. You got your happy ending. We both did. Yeah, I guess we did. During the reception, I thought about Kayla. Wondered if she was happy in Portland, if she'd found someone new, if she'd learned how to be the person she should have been. I hoped she had. Not for my sake. I'd moved on, built a new life with someone better, but for her sake. Because everyone deserved a chance at happiness, even people who'd made terrible mistakes. And I thought about John. Wondered if he was still in the Midwest, still working some anonymous job, still living with the consequences of his choices. I hoped he'd found some measure of peace. Hoped he'd learned something from losing everything. But mostly, I thought about myself. About the journey from discovering Kayla's betrayal to standing here at my own wedding, about to start a new chapter with someone who deserved my trust. It hadn't been easy. It hadn't been quick. And I'd done things along the way that I wasn't proud of, that I'd carry with me forever. But I'd survived. I'd grown. I'd learned how to forgive others and myself. I'd learned that revenge might feel satisfying in the moment, but leaves you hollow in the end. I'd learned that the best way to move past betrayal wasn't to destroy the person who hurt you, but to build something better without them. Rachel squeezed my hand as we cut the cake. Happy? She asked. Yeah, I said, and meant it. I'm happy. Later that night, after the reception ended and the guests went home, Rachel and I stood on the balcony of our hotel room, looking out at the ocean. She leaned against me, and I wrapped my arms around her. You okay? She asked. You've been quiet. Just thinking. About? About how far I've come. About the person I was when Kayla left and the person I am now. About everything that happened in between. Regrets? I thought about it. About the revenge. About the pain I'd caused. About the man I'd become in pursuit of justice or vengeance or whatever I'd been chasing. Some, I admitted. I wish I'd been better. Wish I hadn't gone as far as I did with the revenge. But I don't regret getting here. To this moment, with you. Rachel turned in my arms, looked up at me. The past made you who you are, and I love who you are. Even the messy parts? Especially the messy parts. We stood there as the sun set, as the ocean crashed below us, as our new life together began. And for the first time in 2 years, I felt complete. Not because revenge had healed me, it hadn't. Not because Kayla had apologized, though that had helped, but because I'd chosen to move forward. Chosen to be better, chosen to believe in love again despite having every reason not to. The revenge was over. The pain had faded to a dull ache. The anger had transformed into wisdom, and I was finally, truly free. Not free from the memories. Those would always be there. But free from the bitterness, the need to make them suffer, the desire to see them destroyed. I'd gotten my revenge. I'd won. And then I'd learned that winning meant nothing if you were still chained to the past. So I let it go, let Kayla go, let John go, let all of it fade into history, and I started living again.